A new published study concludes that technology-based interventions to promote weight maintenance are no better and may actually be a little bit worse than in-person interventions for the same goal. Should we throw away our tech-based approaches and just say they don't work? No. We got to get into the details of the study because the conclusions are a little bit dangerous. I'm Dr. Brett Scher, the medical director at DietDoctor.com. And let's be honest, I've got a little bit of bias here, right? At Diet Doctor, we're developing tech-based interventions to help people with healthy weight loss improve their metabolic health and long-term weight maintenance. So I've got a bias, but it's because of that bias that this paper really got my attention because it didn't quite make sense. So I wanted to dig into it a little bit more to make sure I understand the details. And I think it's important for you all to understand the details as well. So the title is The Effectiveness of Technology-Based Interventions for Weight Loss Maintenance, a Systematic Review of Randomized Controlled Trials with Meta-Analysis, and it was published in Obesity Reviews. And basically, the premise of this is, they state in their introduction that only about 20 or 30% of people who lose weight maintain it for more than 1 year, and you can certainly find some studies that say it's far worse than that, right? So there's a lot of emphasis on weight loss maintenance. So they're not talking about the initial weight loss, and they actually acknowledge that technology-based solutions can be helpful for the initial weight loss. So they're focusing on the weight maintenance once there's that weight loss. And what tech solutions for that are emerging all the time. So what they did was they looked at randomized controlled trials of some tech-based solution versus either an in-person intervention or basically what they said minimal intervention or almost no intervention. Interestingly, of the studies they looked at, only 12 met their criteria for enrollment. 11 were internet-based. Only 1 was app-based. And I think that's important. If we look at what's emerging now and what certainly the future is, it's all app-based. It's having it in your pocket, in your smartphone, having it with you all the time for more consistent reminders, not having to go online, log in, punch in your code, your information, remember your password, and then figure out what's going on. That might have a role, but if you look at what's more convenient, the app-based is certainly more convenient. So that's one caveat to this study right away. Only 1 study was app-based. Now, 4 of the studies looked at the tech intervention versus an in-person intervention. And really, they said only 1 study showed any weight loss. So right away, you've got to be asking, or weight maintenance, I guess, and the other showed weight gain. You have to be asking, what is the intervention teaching, right? So it's mostly behavioral techniques, but they don't talk about what is the diet that they're recommending? What is the exercise they're recommending? Part of me thinks it's a lot of the eat less, move more, low fat standard intervention because they do talk about adherence to the calorie goals and the low fat goals. So that's right away raises a red flag for me because if that's what you're teaching, it's going to fail for a number of people. Maybe not everybody, of course. Some people are going to succeed with that, but I think we've seen time and time again that intervention is harder to maintain long-term because of hunger. And that's where the behavior interventions are really important to help you get over your hunger. But what if you could just eat in a way that didn't stimulate the hunger to begin with? So that's right away my little red flag warning signals. Now, all 12 of the studies also looked at tech versus minimal or no intervention. So first, the tech versus the in-person showed worse outcome for the tech. The in-person intervention was more effective at weight maintenance. But when you looked at the 12 that compared tech to minimal or no intervention, 9 were basically the same result. 2 showed tech was worse and 1 showed tech was better. Okay, so basically no difference. Which makes me think, okay, well, this is a little depressing, right? But it does force me to say, well, what would make a tech intervention helpful? Because we have evidence that it works. Virta Health is for me, sort of the prime example. Sure, it's a ketogenic diet, and sure, there are individual health coaches, but it is app-based and with internet ability as well, but most of it is app-based. And we've seen by their data that it works very well. So right away, the specific message is important. You can't just say tech-based intervention, because if you're doing a tech-based intervention about molasses cleanses and coffee enemas, that ain't gonna work, right? But if you're doing a tech-based intervention on high satiety diet, on a low carb or keto diet, on a Mediterranean style diet for those who it works for, right? There are different diets that are going to work better for different people, but the majority of the people are going to do very well on a higher satiety diet or on a low carb or ketogenic diet. Those have been shown to be very beneficial for weight loss and improving metabolic health. So the specific intervention matters. You can't just say tech-based intervention. 2, and I've alluded to this before, where's the tech coming from? Is it a computer? Is it an app? That might make a big difference as well. 3, combining specific dietary interventions with behavioral changes. But 4, also adding in some human element, right? Not all tech-based, but having the ability to ask questions, to connect with others, whether it's a coach or going through with a group and being able to, chat and communicate with the group of people you're going through it with to share experiences and help each other and kind of coach each other. So I think those are some of the elements that are required for a tech-based intervention, which makes me really nervous if this paper circulates saying tech-based interventions don't work for weight maintenance. No. The way they studied, the ones they studied, sure may have seen that, but that is far different from what I am talking about because those factors weren't controlled for in that study. So don't throw out the tech-based interventions yet. Stick with us as a diet doctor. Hopefully our interventions, our tech-based interventions, our app are going to work for you. May not work for everybody, right? It's hard to find something that works for everybody, but we want to make sure you have the options for eating a keto diet, eating a low carb diet, eating a high protein diet, eating a high satiety diet, finding the right one that works for you by going through our algorithm to start you in the right place, to see how you progress following a lot of your markers of success, and then making changes when you need to make changes, having programs that you can go through with a community of people to find that support and that sense of belonging to help each other out, having doctors and coaches and nutritionists being able to moderate it and ask questions and bounce things off them. That, I think, is going to be a recipe, quote-unquote recipe, for success that I hope is going to help a lot of people, and that's what we're working on at dietdoctor.com. So check us out either at dietdoctor.com or at the App Store. And if this was helpful, please click thumbs up and subscribe, and you'll get all our updates here on Diet Doctor News on YouTube. Thanks a lot, everybody.